Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for stopping by, and to each and every one of you who have just joined the channel, thank you for stopping by, and thank you for your subscription. Thank you also to those who has written me. Even if I have not answered you, please just be patient, and I'm going to answer you very soon. Thank you so much for your love and your support. Guys, please do not forget to share my videos after watching. Do not forget to comment and like, and also share with people. It is very, very important that people get the right information. Thank you so much. So guys, today I'm going to be talking about the most important aspect of seeking asylum, the way that asylum should be sought, the things that you should never do as an asylum seeker, and the type of asylum, and how to differentiate the asylum even when you go for, before you go for the interview, when you go for the registration, because normally you register, you go for the registration, the application, and then this application is the most important aspect of your asylum processes. Okay, so once you get the foundation not right, once you say things that will complicate the whole process, automatically the failure starts from when you apply for your asylum here in Germany, or even any other part of the world that you might want to seek asylum. Make sure that when you want to go for your application, that you give the right informations. But then before you even get the right information, just like us, when we seek the asylum, there are so many things that we didn't know about, so we made a lot of mistakes. And so in this video, I'm going to be discussing all of that, but this video is going to be in 3 parts, because I'm going to talk about the different types of asylum, or different ways of seeking asylum. And I'm going to also be talking about the foundation, the beginning of asylum, the application, what to say and what not to say in the application. And then I'm going to be talking about the whole process of the successful process of interview, what you should do in the interview and what you should not do. So this video is practically going to be in 3 parts, because I do not just want to make 1 hour video and then you just have to sit for 1 hour and watch. And when I make it bit by bit, then it's also very, very easier for me to edit. So guys, today in this first video, we are going to be talking about what is called political asylum. Political asylum is the type of asylum that everyone gets to seek. Especially those in fact, a lot of people, when they come here, they want to seek asylum. The first time, I want to seek political asylum, then they seek political asylum, and they don't know if truly, if it is political asylum that is required of them or not. So what is a political asylum? Political asylum, that is the kind of asylum that you seek protection against the government. Yes, against the government. And is an asylum that you seek when you particularly yourself, you have direct problem with the government of your country. For instance, in Nigeria, we have 3 arms of government. We have the federal, we have the states, and we have the local government. So if you're having a direct problem, disagreement, and these are the things that could lead you to being terminated or being imprisoned or being killed, you are not safe, and you seek protection against the government, against the political parties, against anything that has to do with political parties or the government, but direct problem with the government. That means the government is after your life, they are after your family, or they are after you. It's something that has to do with you, not even when the government is against the whole community. Yes, in some cases, if the government is against the whole community, you can as well go to other parts of the community to live. But when the government is directly against you, not the whole community, but against you as a person or as a family, that is when you seek political asylum. So seeking political asylum does not require a lot of information. The first thing is that you have problem with your government, a direct problem with your government, and then you have evidence that will show the kind of problem it is, and yes, you have details information, because you will need all this when you go for the interview. And normally this kind of political asylum is also given to those if you in fact everybody is aware of what is happening in Europe this time around, and a lot of people who came from these countries where there are problems, when they get here in Germany, a lot of them don't even go for interview. They just go for registration, and then they are given a resident permit. So a lot of those who came in 2014, 2015, who came from countries like Eritrea and some of other countries who had political crisis, they didn't go for interviews. They went for registration. You just have to register that you came from such countries, and then they don't need to ask you questions, because all over the news, everywhere, they see what is happening in the country. So they don't ask people. They just ask you where you came from, your data, your date of birth, so that these informations are going to be needed to produce a resident permit for you, and vice. So those are basically the things that they want to know: when you were born, where you come from, the city where you come from, where you were born, your height, if you have gone to school, if you're educated, your level. So it's practically like a registration, and which they also do for everyone, irrespective of where you come from. You're also going to go through the registration. So so this one is really an easy one. Okay, and the only disadvantage is when you see political asylum, yes, they're not going to be giving you the resident permit with your country's passport, because obviously you do not have the opportunity to go to your embassy. Maybe the embassy is closed. So if you have your passport, you can also present it, but you do not have your passport, you don't have to present it if you don't have your passport. So for those people who have their passport, you're not fearing deportation, because everybody sees what happens. So you can present your passport, and they will give you. But the thing is that with political asylum, in as much as it's the easiest type of asylum, because you probably don't have to go for these difficult interviews where you have to sit for hours and talk about your experience and being asked thousands of questions. It also requires that when the country settles, when everything becomes normal, that you immediately have to leave the country. So the resident permit is not a permanent resident permit, and sometimes you cannot also apply for permanent resident permits with this type of, in some cases, if with this type of documents. Those who just arrived to Germany a few months ago, or from last month, as of last month, they have been given, a lot of them have gone for registration, and they've gotten their resident permits. But with the resident permit, they are not even allowed to integrate. They're not allowed. They said the German government said they can work. So so many of them can actually work, but they're not allowed to go to school, because maybe if you want to pay for it, of course it's allowed if you have to pay for it, but they're not giving free education like any other person, those who are granted some other kind of asylum. Okay, so people who came from, for example, from Ukraine, they have to also go back someday. So their resident permit is kind of restricted. When Ukraine, everything settles, they will all have to leave immediately. So that is one thing about political asylum documents. And yeah, but if you want to also stay, there are so many of them who has come here now that I know that even if it's like 10,000 people who came from all those countries now, don't expect, or we don't expect that a lot of them will go back, or 10,000 of them will go back. There are some people who will say, no, I'm traumatized. Of course, I understand, or we understand, or everybody understands that, and they do not want to go back. So what they will now have to do is to look for a way to pay for their Dutch course, integrate, and look for a way they will continue to stay in the country. But they do not have to be scared of deportation. And yeah. And sometimes when you also seek for political asylum in some of these countries, you can also, the ways to stay is that you have worked for some certain months, and you can integrate. Maybe if you have to pay for your Dutch course by yourself, you have to work and pay for it and get maybe to some level, maybe a BIs, and then you are able to apply for permanent resident permit. So with the political asylum, is a little easier, but it's also different. It also have its own challenges, and the challenges is that when you are given and everything becomes okay in your country, you will have to automatically leave. But it's something to start with, like I always say. So if you seek for political asylum and you get there, these are the reasons you have to give. If you are coming from a country where you don't have to go for interview, and peradventure you have a direct problem with the government, and not everyone, not the whole world knows about, but it's a personal problem that you have, especially with those who work with army, who work with secret agents, who work with all this top government officials, and they want to seek asylum, and it's not something that everybody knows about. It every country, they are showing on CNN and every other place, news stations. So probably the German government does not know about it, or wherever it is they are going to seek asylum, they do not know the political situation between you and your government. So that means you have to provide evidence, and you have to go for interview, and you have to prove that truly the government is after your life. So an individual, not a whole country, can also seek political asylum. It's not just those who are going through challenges in their countries, like between countries and countries, just like we have now. I do not want to mention their name of the names of the country, but if we are having like those who are fighters, like all these freedom fighters, those who has a contrary opinion, who attacks the government and all that, like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, somebody like that from Nigeria, who has been attacking or not attacking, has been saying certain things to make the government look better, who has been looking for especially the Igbo community, which is Biafra, who has been agitating for the freedom of Biafra. So the government sees this kind of people as an enemy of the government, and they are always after their lives. So these people can also seek political asylum. They can seek for political asylum, and they will be granted, and they have their evidence, and they'll be granted the political asylum. Okay, so guys, that is it about the political asylum. So when you apply, make sure that you apply for it, and do not apply for any other type of asylum, especially if it has to do with humanitarian. So it's government, between you and government, do not mess things up. Do not take stories that those who seek refugee, those who seek asylum as refugees, do not take their stories and add to yours. Make sure that, yes, sometimes if someone is also going through problems with his or with government, is every possibility that the person have no access to good medical system, because the person is always on the run, and the person does not have what to eat. Yeah, but let it not be that is because of all this that you are seeking asylum, because that is a total different thing from political asylum. So guys, like I said, this video is going to be in parts. So this is what I just want to explain to you. And when you seek also political asylum, and you have gone to school, especially like those who had just arrived this month, those who were able to escape with their certificates, who were able to escape with their documents, those who have gone to school, who are learned. So these people can also find employment if they speak English, and they can find jobs. So if you are seeking even any kind of asylum, do not change your date of birth, do not change where you come from, do not change for any reason. Just because of you are going through the process does not mean the process is going to end. So the question is, as soon as the process ends, what becomes of you? What's the future? What is it going to be like when you have gone to school and you probably cannot present the certificate because it doesn't bear the same name, or it doesn't have the same date of birth, and you go there, you have BSc, you've studied, you have degrees, and then you say, no, I don't have degrees, because you want to seek asylum. So things like that could complicate your life in the future here in Germany. So do not do such things. Do not do such things, because it has left a lot of people stranded today, and they don't know if they move forward or they move backward. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and in the next video I'm going to be explaining what a refugee is. So this is another type of asylum in Germany, and I will explain it in details. Thank you, and see you in the next video. Bye.